What's up, everybody? We're back, Big Blue Power Hour, as we start free agency for the New York Giants. Here with Paul Spencer and Evan. What's
What's
going on,
up?
guys?
What's going on?
Just,
What's up,
just, uh,
boys? It's been a while.
just chilling, just chilling. But good to be back. Some big news. With Saquon Barkley and McKinney, they're not going to tag either one of them, so they're going to test free agency. And I get it for both of them. I think it's actually smart by Shane to not tie up money, even though I'd like to keep one of them. I think we'll keep both of them. But they have so many needs that they need to have as much space as possible to figure out what they're going to do.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, he comes with a kind of a big price tag, don't you think? What he's going to ask for? I mean, franchise was about 11 last year. He wasn't happy about that, so I
Nope.
mean, he's going to probably demand a $12 to $14 contract, and he's not going to
Yep.
take 1 year. As he said on
No.
Twitter, he wants that bankroll to accumulate in his NFL time here. So he
Yep.
wants that $12 to $15 million range. Is
Well,
he
he
worth
said
it?
he wasn't. If he can get a handshake deal with them, that's something further down the line. That means he's got a lot of trust in the Giants ownership and Shane himself.
Yeah. Ken Fry says Fred tag is 14 million. I think for what the Giants need and their needs, I think they can't really do that. And I want to see what the market's going to be for Barkley. What's up, Kenny? What's going on?
You know what the funny thing is, real quick? The franchise tag was $11 million. If that's accurate at $14 million a year, running backs nowadays are better going to sign the franchise tag because you looked at the last 2 years of running backs. They don't make. Nobody wants to even give a solidified back. Derrick Henry $11 million. Nobody wants to give that running back that much.
Exactly.
It's better to sign the franchise tag, honestly, and play 1 year. I'd rather live on the franchise tag for 3 years where you can be signed at it, make your $14 million a year, than going testing free waters because you might not even get that $14 million deal.
Exactly. That's the thing, Evan. Like the market, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know what's going to be for him. I don't know what's going to be for all the running backs.
Like right now, it's like what I'm hearing is Minnesota's very interested in Barkley.
Texans.
The Texans.
Texans are
Which would
he's
make-
interested in the Texans.
Yeah.
And then that he's interested in going to the Texans. I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm also hearing the Browns are interested in him. So
I think the Texans make sense for him.
So I'm like, I love Barkley. I've loved him ever since. And I'm a big Penn State fan. So
Absolutely.
Being at Penn State, I watched him come in as a sophomore and just light up the entire college football.
Yeah.
He's such a dynamic back. The problem is he still has that cut and dry ability, cut and run ability. He doesn't have that burst speed anymore.
Breakaway speed, yeah.
It's not that I don't want to. I want him to be a Giant forever, but if him leaving gets him a better career, I'll take that hit.
Good for him.
You know what I mean? I can't watch a great player, and I think he could be. He should be right now. I'll say this: if he would have went to Dallas or a great O line like the Eagles or a really good O line, he'd be up near Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith numbers right now.
Man,
where you go matters. I'm sorry, he was better than Zeke coming out. He was better than anyone the Eagles have had in the last 10 years as a running back. He's that special, and I it's the Giants that have held him back.
Yeah,
and I feel if he's got to go somewhere to shine out and get his Super Bowl rings like Odell did, so be it.
Yeah.
Where do you think the best fit would be? I mean, honestly, to me, you have to have an offensive
Chargers.
That's a great. We talked about that, Dan. If he goes to the Chargers, Harbaugh knows that running game. Michigan, he revitalized that Michigan team. Why not? You have the quarterback. You're set there. Mm-hmm. Eckler's on the shelf right now. He's hit or miss. We don't know what he's going on. Yep. But do you really take that chance on a franchise player like $14 million? Let's say.
I don't know. I don't think the market's going to be.
I got 2 spots that nobody's talking about. L.A. for not Chargers, but the Rams.
I like Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is their solid back now. I can't see them sharing the backfield with him.
Yeah, but they've been so pass heavy, but they still have an offensive line that can run block too. And Barkley's a dynamic back. Give him just a slightly good offensive line, and let's see what he can do. But also Seattle.
Yeah.
You want to share time with Kenneth Walker?
He's better than Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but you got Kenneth Walker on another 2-year deal,
but you have a 1-2 punch. That 1-2 punch plus you have I'm having a brain fart. Wide receiver.
Oh, you got solid wide receivers there. You got 3
receivers. And you got Geno's not pressuring himself to throw the ball.
I don't know if I see them doing that because I think Barkley's going to want to be the feature guy. I don't think it would be a bad thing. They have an unbelievable offense.
When has Barkley ever wanted to be the center of attention?
Why do you want to be the feature back?
I don't think he cares anywhere he wants. If he making his money and he's winning, I think that will play out more if he's getting touched.
Oh, I agree with that, but I think like the Texans or the Chargers are a little bit more realistic to me. And speaking for the Giants, if they lose Barkley, you can go after an Eckler. You can go get Josh Jacobs if you want. You could try to get him. You can even sign Derrick Henry if you wanted to.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about salary cap here. Let's talk about the number 1 team in the NFL, the Patriots. Okay?
Yeah.
What about them going out and get Barkley? They have the money to do it. 2 years, $28 million right there.
But I don't know if he wants to do that.
But think about this. What better way to go out and get Drake May or a Jaden Daniels, a rookie quarterback coming in, get him that?
If that's their plan, yes. That makes sense.
Right?
I think their offensive line, I don't know if it's very good, but I think the Patriots are picking a quarterback with the first pick regardless. So if you could get your quarterback with a Barkley, that'd be interesting. It's going to be a team that has a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
What's up, Insane?
What's up, Insane?
What's going on? But it's going to be very interesting. I just want to see what the market's going to be for the running backs. I don't think it's going to be 14. I think it's going to be like 12, 13.
I don't think it's going to be that.
Something
well,
like
if you guys
might be 11.
Well, being a Giants fan, you guys are the Giants fan here. I'm talking like the Cowboys never picked them up. Makes sense to me because you're not going to franchise Tony Pollard at $14 million. Why not want to get a better running back by Barkley? But what are you guys going to offer him being Giants fans? Say, hey, Saquon, stay hometown here. We love you. We drafted you. What deal are you going to give him?
12, 13.
But the tag is 14.
I give him.
But he doesn't want the tag.
35, 26 guaranteed.
What did you 35 for what? 3?
26 guaranteed.
You ain't gonna get a 5-year deal. You might only get a 3-year offer. I don't know.
I can see 2 or 3 at the most, honestly. I mean,
I'd say 3 max.
5 years. Like the days of that are past.
No way.
He'll get a 3-year contract, an opt out after 2. So most of them guarantee money of that 26 will be 13 and 13.
Yeah.
And then with an option of 9 at the last year.
Might be about the guarantee money for him as well, but I know he's going to want a 3-year contract minimum, I think.
Yeah,
and so. I want to see what the market's going to be because if it's Barkley that's signed somewhere, Jacobs, that's going to set the market, I think. And I want to see what someone's going to offer him.
I mean, you got 3 running backs out there. You got Henry out there. You got Eckler out there.
Yep.
I'd take Tony Pollard or Eckler.
I would love to get someone like Eckler because he's healthy. He's available a lot. I just like him because he's a touchdown machine. I like Eckler. I think he's a real good back.
I feel like if we go with Eckler, we're going back to the days of like Shane Vereen and Jennings, where they weren't exactly running backs. They were more of receiving halfbacks.
I don't mind that though. I like a dynamic player like that.
I think we need to go back further. I want to sign Derrick Henry. That's one of my picks.
And convert to a power run game.
The power run, beef up this offensive line, power run, because the running game's going to open up the passing game.
Yeah, I'd be open to signing Henry, but I think you give him like a 2-year deal.
See, it's bad.
Give him.
It's bad for running backs because like last year was 11 million, now it's 14 million for the tag. It's so bad being a running back. It's a prized possession in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a dime a dozen being the best. But the thing is, when you are a running back, with the $14 million tag this year, Ed, you want to give him that 3-year, $36 million, or $35 million, 26 guaranteed up front.
I think it's reasonable. I think it's a
you
fair
think
offer.
about that. I'd rather say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to play on the franchise tag, make 14. Then next year I'm going to make 15, and keep boosting up the franchise tag on my situation. I don't want that long-term contract unless it's guaranteed $30 million over the franchise price tag.
At least it's at least that, and the guarantee money might make the difference. But I know he wants to be a Giant, but like he also has to, think about you want to be behind a good offensive line. Giants have a horrible offensive line. UConn wants to bring back Tiki Barber. Yeah, his when he fixed his fumble issue, yes. But the Giants had a great offensive line then, so.
Well, if you get Joe Alt, then there's a situation right there to establish that line for you right there. I mean, a dominant run blocker, pass protector.
Absolutely.
I think he gave up 3 sacks in the last three one-on-one misses of the entire year. So he's arguably the number one, offensive tackle in the NFL this year coming out.
Yeah, but for the Giants, especially free agency, they have to be looking to improve in other areas. I would love to keep a Saquon Barkley, but you got to fix that offensive line. You have to.
Before he resigned,
you must.
The Giants were really going after Mike Evans before he resigned. So it's kind of give you an
I
idea
would have been open to
where
that.
their mind's at of being offense.
Exactly.
Word is coming out of the Giants GM spot, the offices, is that they're done with Daniel Jones. They're
probably
for a transition QB.
Yep.
But that brings me to my next person I'm talking about. Just came into my head today. He wasn't on my list, but Russell Wilson leaving the Broncos, and they're going to cover $80 million of his contract for the next 2 years.
That's actually attractive. If they're going to do that, that could be an option.
You imagine giving him like a $1-2 million contract. He's still getting $80 million from them. You bring him in on a real cheap contract, give him a whole bunch of weapons, like a Malik Neighbors, or that I would actually move up into the draft and get somebody. Maybe go up and get Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're not getting him. He's not slipping past the Cardinals.
You'd have to trade up if you really.
But that leaves me to the next. Like I said, I know this. I watched this guy play at Purdue.
Yeah,
Rondale Moore. Make a deal for him because they're the same size, same speed, and they're gonna play around the same outside.
Yeah, but do you really need another burner in Rondale Moore on your team? He's a burner.
I want more of a physical, fast and physical possession guy that could.
Malik Neighbors is your guy.
Malik Neighbors or an Aduzi. I want someone that's going to have a little bit more possession and be able to make those tough catches.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you
have your burner.
Evan, you said Russell Wilson, very cheap, still arguably, top 25 QB. It's right system, right fit, could be, revitalize his career. Let me ask you this. I don't think he's going to go to the Giants. I think he's actually going to go to Minnesota. Minnesota's not going to franchise Cousins. Would you take a chance on Cousins?
No.
If
I wanted Dak Prescott Jr., I would just, wait for Dak to be released this year.
You can have Dak. You can have Dak. He wants $60 million a year. You can have his ass anytime you want.
I think Russell Wilson is a better option.
Oh, my God. I heard that he wants 50 plus.
Yeah, that's a topic for tomorrow night.
This dude has given you nothing but weapons, nothing but a great defense. And what have you given him? You haven't even given him a championship, NFC championship. And you're asking for $50 million? They left that Daniel Jones for asking for the market value of $40 million.
And all I see on my shelf up here is, participation trophies with Dak Prescott. That's all he's giving me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I heard that. I literally wanted to. I wanted to call you at that moment and be like, "Listen, do you still want Daniel Jones for a year?" Like I said, I think Daniel Jones is going to leave and prosper. Like if he goes somewhere like the Bucs, or he goes somewhere where he might be competing for a job.
Yeah.
And he has a better O-line. I think if he had like somebody like Bruce Arians, dude, he'd be great.
But you know what, Ev, this is the craziest thing about it though. 4 years ago when Dak got his 5 years ago when he got his big contract, okay, he set the market for quarterbacks. Okay. Mm-hmm. But he transitioned what the rate was. Dak Prescott is doing it again. Burrow's got signed. Everybody got signed now. There's huge contracts. Mahomes. Everybody got their money. Now Dak is going above what nobody ever thought anyone would get. He's setting the market again. So whoever's next after Dak Prescott, they're screwed. I mean, Dak, in a way, it's like, okay, he's setting the trend for the QB market. It's insane.
But he's also screwing teams. He's screwing a lot of teams over.
My team especially.
Because the cap just went up by $30 million. Now, if you remember, Paul, me and you talked about it. Me and Dan said it on this show. I said the cap is going to have to go up a lot because it hasn't gone up since what 2020.
Yeah,
before the season started, it went up that off season. I'm like, so it's going to have to go up a lot. And I was like, oh no, it's just going to go up to the regular amount. I'm like, no, it's going to go up like 20 to 30 million. It went up go up 40 million almost 40 million. Yeah, that is that way to have your quarterback at 50 million. The league is adjusting to what Dak did the first time.
Yeah.
For him to go do that again, you're going to leave teams in a horrible position. You can't pay somebody $50 million a year.
That's a lot of money, man.
Look what Brady did. You know why Brady was successful for 20 years? Because instead of being, I'll take $50 million, give me
a pay cut.
He was like, give me $20 million. I'm cool. I got all these fucking. Because you know why?
And you have endorsements too.
He put the money on himself. He's like, thank you, Bubba. He's saying, you know what? I'm gonna go win these championships. And guess what? When Gillette calls me, when Budweiser calls me, that's when I'll get my money. Yeah, give me $10 million or give me stock options or Under Armour. Yeah, you know what? I want some of the business. Give me a percentage of what I sell.
And it helps when you got Gisele Bundchen, a billionaire as well. You know,
exactly.
Exactly.
But not anymore. But
I believe they did a no-fault divorce too, so he didn't get none of his money taken either. Because she doesn't need it. She was making more than him for 10 years.
Yeah, she had more than him. Yeah, exactly.
So
like, some quarterbacks don't do that though.
You don't like he picked his wife right. I'll give him that. He picked his life right. He lived his life, but he also bet on himself to win. He goes, if I give this $30 million to go get a better cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, go get better offensive linemen. When did Brady not have a top 10 offensive line?
Maybe the last couple of years he was there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it went downhill the last couple of years he was there, of course. But, I mean, his first, 17 years, they built that offensive line. They never went wide receiver. They never went back. They went offensive line to make sure he was safe and upright all years long,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that's why we have all these Brady clones. Like you have Matt Castle come out because he did well one year. You have Jimmy Garoppolo who did well. No, he worked well in that system built for Tom Brady. And listen, I was one of the guys that's like, it's all Belichick. Belichick's going to get this done. I was wrong. I'll admit here. You ever heard me say that? I was wrong. It was Brady. I was so fucking surprised when he went out and won in Tampa Bay. I was so surprised. But guess what?
No one thought that.
He set the example of how to win. And he said it on quarterbacks. Take the pay cut. He goes, when are you going to need $200 million? You're not balling out like, Money Mayweather losing $50 million in 2 months or whatever it was.
It's not just
like, you have enough to live your life. Build your legacy. That legacy meant more to him. And that's what I'm saying about like back in the day players. The legacy of like championships meant more than money.
Some people just want to get money.
Now it's all about money, and people don't have that love for the game no more. If I actually was in the NFL, like, do I want to be mentioned 60 years down the line or have an extra $20 million?
Yeah, but
it's different mentality now. Look at high school players; they're making $1 million even before they throw a pass in college with the NIL deal. Evan, we can talk about this forever. It's old school versus new school. I'm old school. You guys know that. And I'd rather have my legacy cemented rather than have everything and be blessed the rest of my life. I like to work for what I have. You know what I mean? I'm not given to anything, like go to basketball. Look at Michael Jordan, how he got his first year, $1 million his first year. My God, now you're getting players coming here and making $50 million a year the first year. It's insane the price of what we've seen before versus what it is today. It's insane.
It's getting ridiculous for the quarterbacks. Like at some point you have to draw a lot. Like that's a lot of your cap into one player, and it like you said, it stops you from signing other players. If there was no cap, I wouldn't give a crap, but there is.
But then again, you have teams like Dallas. Dallas has the #1 brain in the world, worth $9 billion.
Yeah.
The Cowboys would win every year because half the fucking league growing up were Cowboys fans.
Sure. They would buy the team. They would buy a championship every year if there was no salary cap tax.
It'd be like the Yankees all over again. The Yankees had to be combated with the luxury tax.
And the other thing is, like you talk about, with the quarterback franchise, and no quarterback's going to take a 2 to 3 year deal. These big quarterbacks, they're looking at 5 to 6 years. So let's talk about $50 million a year this year. The next let's say Dak gets 60. The next precedent is going to be 65 to 70.
Exactly.
That's going to be pretty soon it's going to be $80 million for a quarterback.
Half your like a third of your cap is going to be for one player.
Exactly.
That's just ridiculous.
And then running backs can't even get a contract now. Running back can't even get a contract.
But it takes is teams just saying, no, I'm not signing you for that. Every team would have to say, nope, I'm not signing you for that.
Can I just be Jerry Jones for one day? Can I just be Jerry Jones for one day when Dak walks into my office and says, I want 55 to 60? I'm going to laugh and go, you think you're worth it?
I'm sorry. That's just I think it's too much for any quarterback.
Dude, I was saying this at $40 million. Like I said sign Dak for $32 million, the same as Carson Wentz. I'm sorry, at the time, the Carson Wentz had the biggest contract, him and Jared Goff.
I remember that, yeah.
I said sign him for $32 million. They set the record. I'm like, and this is a downward spiral. And I'm like, I got mad at Jerry Jones. I'm like, why are you being? Sorry, I said, why are you being a fucking idiot? I'm like, you are setting the market for mediocrity.
Yep, and then Wilson
I'm sorry,
again.
That's a good quarterback. He's a good regular season quarterback.
But $50 million? Nah, I can't sign you for that much.
Think about this. He hasn't beaten Donovan McNabb's stats. And everybody shits on Donovan McNabb. Like he hasn't even made it to a championship game. And they're calling Dak a top 10 quarterback of all time? Fuck out at my face. If you can't get past the second round, you don't need to be in the greatest conversation of anything.
Yeah, Foster Cover says fans are paying, so no one cares. It's up to the fans to put the kibosh on the money. It's up to the owner, the GMs too, to just say no, I'm not giving you $50 million.
Yeah, they're making billions and billions of dollars. But look at like how Kansas City is doing great when they say they have the worst owner in the world. Their
Obviously not. They're doing something right.
Like they
doing something right.
1 meal a day there. 1 meal a day. I'm like, yo, if I won you 2 Super Bowls, you better have me a fucking. But then again, I'm like, all right, now I'm like, that's why when Russell Wilson, Sean Payton went into Denver, and now he was like, oh, you have your own office. He goes,
that makes the most sense.
My coach and shit. He's like, no, get that the fuck out of here.
If you could get like Russell Wilson, though, they're gonna cover $80 million, like $80 million of his salary. That's like a bargain.
Yeah, it's basically just having a.
Interesting.
It's basically if you get Russell Wilson, you're really signing him on a rookie deal, honestly, for the next 2 years.
But I think the Giants are gonna they're gonna trade up or go quarterback in the draft. I don't know if they're gonna do. I just don't know because they have so many other needs. Is Russell Wilson gonna fix your other problems? But you could address that in the draft. You can get offensive linemen. You could figure stuff out.
Now I want to show. Pick 3 offensive, 3. Let me say this. I'm going to say it this way. Pick a free agent. I said Derrick Henry or Russell Wilson that you would really want. What on the defensive side would you really want to bring in?
What's your needs? What's your number one need?
Linebacker.
Maybe you break the bank and you're going to get a Patrick Queen. Maybe.
What about from
Brian Burns?
What about Miles Jack?
He disappears though. If you're having trouble in the AFC South, coming to the AFC East ain't gonna help you.
Yeah, you're some more physical division. That's gonna help you. That's not gonna help.
I mean, another edge guy is something. The outside linebacker edge is something they probably need also. But I don't know what's much out there. That's something you probably want to address maybe in the draft more so.
Like that would be an option, but
I think they need more help on the offensive side, and free agency. I think that's what they're going to try to address.
What about the guard from the Rams? He's up for.
Yeah, if they could they need guards. They don't really have any guards. They released Glowinski. Pugh is gone. They don't really have any guards at all.
I'd bring Pugh back with a year contract.
Nah. No, I'd rather address the guard position in the draft or something like that.
Just for depth,
I think they signed him because they had no choice. He ain't coming back. Nah.
Yeah, but they signed him. I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, they signed him but they didn't really want him. But he also performed well. Like that's the thing we're missing.
50-50. I'd say sometimes he performed well, sometimes he was horrible. He made them a little better. little more competent, but I don't think Shane wants him back. I think he's going to go in a different direction. Just me personally.
So what you're saying is you're going to build this team through the draft and free agency. I mean, with the draft where you guys sit, what is your best outfit to pick at where you're picking?
Wide receiver or tackle, probably. At number 6.
Let's
realistically speaking.
Let's break it down. Dan, you and I went over this on our show where we talked about all the divisions coming up. We did a mock draft. Let's just run this down. Let's just say we already talked about Chicago controlling the draft here. They control the draft 100%. If they go the route that everybody thinks they're going to go, they go Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
The Commanders they take out a quarterback. They either take Jaden or Drake May.
Or May, yep.
And Harrison goes at 4. Harrison goes at 4. Now, no offensive lineman, no wide receiver except for Harrison's been taken off the board. What are you leaning toward? What's the best scenario for you? Wide receivers, Malik Neighbor, Joe Alt, Fanche, Suya from Oregon State. What are you looking to get?
If Alt is there at 6, I think it's an obvious pick. If he falls to 6, how could you pass up on him? You're going to kick the other inside.
Can put up one of our drafts real quick. We can go over mine first, since mine has a similar.
The one with Joe Alt.
Yeah, I have a similar pick. I let the computer pick of what is going to be draftable now.
I'm just gonna read what your draft was here.
Pick 1 was Joe Alt.
This was Joe Alt at number 6 you took. And you took Penix at 24. I think you made a trade.
Yep.
You believe in Penix at 24, Evan?
Yeah, I like Penix, but he's a lefty.
But I believe I
think he'll be there in the second round.
What I needed to, because I saw Bo Nix go off the board in that draft, and the next obvious pick is Michael Penix. And after that, so I kind of jumped the gun and moved up a little bit on that one. Gave away more than I think we should have, but I mean, I can't say I don't believe in the kid, man. Like I believe left-handers are coming back a little bit. It gives you a little bit of a difference, in that his arm strength is there, his play recognition is there. You just got to worry about the injuries.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Shane's willing to risk that.
But him over the kid from Michigan, yeah.
JJ McCarthy, I'm very interested to see where JJ McCarthy's
McCarthy, I said he's going to the Broncos.
And the Giants have talked to him a lot. But
sometimes he looks downfield.
And I don't know about him. I just don't know.
Scared to throw it.
Yeah, I just don't know about him because he hasn't thrown a whole lot. Not like a Daniels, not like a May, not like a Caleb Williams. He hasn't really. He may have the skills,
right?
But I don't know if the Giants are going to trade up for a pack. I would wait for Penix and he'd be there in the second.
I think that 23 is a reach. Honestly, reaching up to 23 to grab Penix. But what are you going to give up for that, Evan?
Yeah, I don't know what you gave up for.
Well, I think what happens is I gave up. Let me go back to it
because we have 39 and 70.
I think I gave up one of our second rounds
and then 57.
And a second next year.
Oh wow, for Penix.
It's not horrible.
It's not horrible, but I think it's sort of a reach still because in my draft board, and we didn't have him going in the first round, honestly. I mean, I don't think he's going in the
first round at all. I think he's a second rounder.
Yeah, I think him and Bo Nix are second round picks.
Third.
Yeah, I think
both of them are second round because
I don't know, man. Because I like him more than Drake May.
No way.
No, I like May better.
I do. I would
May quarterback.
I like May better.
Running his system.
Like, and one of my the draft I also picked up Quorum from Michigan.
Solid running
in like the fourth round.
Yeah, was your other draft. Like Caleb Williams isn't going to fall, but Caleb Williams.
But that's also computerized. I think said.
Yeah, Braylon Trice. I don't think he'll be there. Corum at 47. I took Corum at 70 in a couple of mocks, but I don't think he's going to last that long either.
I got him going late second, early third.
Yeah, like I said, I think that, like I said, if the offensive tackle Joe Alt is there, I think it's an obvious pick. But they could go Oduzier or they could go Neighbors. I think those two positions are more realistic based on what I'm looking at now. But if the Bears go and don't take a quarterback, then maybe one of the 3 quarterbacks will be there at 6.
I don't want Drake May.
I don't know if Arizona's taking a quarterback.
No.
I don't know.
Well, like what we said, Dan,
and the Chargers are not taking a quarterback either.
No. Well, what we said in our show was, let's just say, of course, the Bears control the draft here. What if they do the obvious, of course, and take Caleb Williams like everybody's thinking?
Yeah.
You know, the solid choice here. But let's just say they keep Justin Fields, ride with this dude, and they go number 1, Joe Alt, number 1, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
That's going to drop someone down to you, a quarterback, because the teams in front of you do not two teams in front of you need a quarterback.
The Patriots,
the Commanders and the Patriots.
And the Commanders. Yep.
So that leaves one of the quarterbacks out there. You know, what if
it's realistic, I think.
It's realistic. Do you take that quarterback best available? I know Evan's over there saying, hell no, if it's not May. I think May is the best quarterback in this draft.
If May fell to 6, I think you have to take him.
I think you do too.
If Alt is gone, then yeah. That if Alt goes, then you're probably going to go quarterback or wide receiver at 6.
If both of them are there, and let's just say if Drake May drops to you, Dan, and he's sitting there at your pick, and let's say a Malik Neighbors or a Rome is sitting there, which way do you go then?
Probably Neighbors.
They could pick Neighbors, but May would be very enticing. And I don't know who Joe Schoen likes. I don't know who is going to be the guy that Schoen and Dave fall in love with.
I would pick Neighbors first, and then Bo Nix second in the second round.
That's what I took Joe Alt and Bo Nix in one of my drafts at 39.
You guys are sold on Bo Nix?
I don't know about Bo Nix, but I know he has talent.
You know, coming out of what he was just coming out 2021, they were projecting him come out. He stayed and went back. Well,
the best thing when he was at Auburn, he needed more years. He wasn't ready yet.
Oh yeah,
that's why he went to Oregon. It drafted him so much higher what he did at Oregon. You know, winning the way he did, his turnover ratio, his completion ratios, his yards. It made him shoot up the draft board. But being a 6-year senior really helped him out in this draft.
But also, if I'm taking Bo Nix, I think at 39, that's not a bad pick. If you got him at 39,
it also shows that
that's not a bad spot, in my opinion.
But he's not. He's going to be a QB holder for 1 or 2 years, though. Are you okay with Danny's, playing for 2 years and let him sit behind
it? Year, yeah, but that's
for
where I
think
Russell Wilson being so cheap. If Daniel Jones is going to have some kind of draft stock when people don't get their quarterback, right? I would bring in Russ to be the starter. I'm sorry, he threw 30-something touchdowns last year. He was the second.
Better than James Jones, obviously.
You're going to get him. You can get him on a cheap contract.
Of course.
Yeah.
You start him over Jones immediately because Jones ain't going to be ready
anyway.
Wise for the first game.
Yeah.
So bring in Russell Wilson. If he's hot, let him play. But drag that quarterback behind him to learn from a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like what they do in free agency will also determine if they're going to try and fill a couple of needs, obviously, in free agency. And that's being an offensive tackle if possible. I don't know if there's really any guards out there. I just wide receiver
West Virginia
address in the draft. I picked Zach Frazier, the inside interior offense. I took him in a lot of drafts. Mox at 47. Like he was there in a whole lot of them. He's, they need interior offensive line. Taking him later makes sense to me.
I also took Jeremiah Trotter Jr. As our linebacker. I think 3rd or 4th round. I think 4th round. My last round, I picked him. But also, I took a lot of trades that were given to me to back up more, to accumulate more over the time. So
like here's another one I did. Drake May, Keon Coleman at 39.
Great wide receiver.
Edrin Cooper at 47. I don't think
Dan, get his name off the board. You and I did the draft. You already know where Edrin Cooper's going. You know where he's going already.
The Florida State running back Trey Benson.
He's good. He's a solid strong back.
And then I took Trevor Keegan, the guard from Michigan, because they had a good offensive line all year.
They did.
That's the latest mock draft I did. I think, like I said, if the Bears don't take a quarterback, one of those 3 are going to fall to us. I'm almost convinced. If they take a quarterback, then you're going to go wide receiver or offensive tackle, in my opinion.
All right, let me ask you this: if Saquon walks, he doesn't sign his tag, which he's not going to sign.
He's not going to sign a tag. No, he wants a contract.
If he doesn't get the contract, what's wanted, given what key clauses, does that change your draft? I mean, for a running back? It's an issue, isn't it?
I would draft a running back, but it would be late if I took a running back. I brought Barkley back. I'm taking a running back like at 70, like a Trey Benson or something, because I don't know if Barkley's going to get hurt. And, he's had injuries almost every single season, especially. So if they bring him back, you're taking a running back. You're taking one late, not early. If you bring him back, you've got to improve your offensive line. That's a no-brainer to me. But like I'm saying, I think it's going to be quarterback, tackle, or wide receiver at 6. Unless they trade up and shock the shit out of me.
Yeah, I think it's going to fall. I think a lot of it's going to be, day one when we do the live draft. Of course, I think it's going to be everybody's eyes are going to be on what Chicago does because they control that draft. If Chicago goes one way, man, I tell you, the GM's phone is going to be ringing for 2, 3, and 4 sitting there right away. Everybody's going to be calling
absolutely them. Because they'll know we could definitely get a quarterback, and some teams are so desperate. Like would the Falcons do something like that? Would the Vikings do something like that? I don't know if they have.
The Falcons are not interested in Justin Fields at all.
Not Fields. Trade up for a quarterback in the draft.
No, they're interested in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he's rumored to there. He's rumored to there.
He's better than what they got, but they're a team that needs a quarterback. I'm just saying.
And the unsung guy out there, thinking of teams, maybe the Raiders want a quarterback. I mean, they're Garoppolo. He's on his 2 suspension. He sucks. Of course, they went out last year and got the other kid out there playing quarterback, but maybe they're not sold on it. Maybe they're playing because everybody's saying like, what's Justin Fields do? A lot of teams will take a flyer on Justin Fields right now because he's better than what they have right now too.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, do the Bears want to trade Fields or keep him and build around him?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, we talked about if I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm saying right now we're keeping Fields right now just to build up all the phone calls coming on draft day because
of course
the price might be 2 igloos right now to an Eskimo on draft day. It might be 4 igloos for one.
Maybe they'll get a deal they can't refuse.
Exactly. Sell the farm to me on that.
You never know, because some teams will do something like that. Well, they'll trade the farm for somebody, but it might be worth it for one of these quarterbacks. You never know.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Another thing I want to mention is also, another guy we're not tagging just shortly is Xavier McKinney. His tag would have been like 17.
Yeah, it's amazing.
His transition tag was 13.1 or something.
Crazy.
So he's going to test the market also, and I'm interested to see what the safety market's going to be as well. We'll see. He's a good player for their defense. So, but you're going to keep one of them. It's either going to be Barkley or McKinney.
Well, based on $17 million for that position versus $14 million for running back, I think you're better off keeping the defensive player here, franchising him, because running backs are so much cheaper on this market. You can go out. Let's just say you get a 4th round pick, you get Blake Corum and Audrey Estime for $1 million a year on a 4-year, $1 million a year. Go out and get that young, fresh Corum because we know what Corum is. We know what these running backs can be.
I think late in the draft, the later 3rd round pick or that 4th round pick, I think the Giants are looking at running back around there, to be honest. It makes sense that Shane is not going to tag either one of them because he knows they have so many issues. I love McKinney, and I love Barkley even more. I'd love to keep them, but if it means them being a better team overall and improving your offensive line, being able to score more points, and then you figure out in the draft, you could always get an edge guy in the draft, a linebacker in the draft, another safety. So there are possibilities out there. But the situation the Giants are in, you want to free up as much cap and not tie yourself up at all, and then see what the market's going to determine for you.
What's our cap right now if Barkley walks?
I'd have to look it up, but it's like 30 something probably now. That
we're like 38, aren't we?
Something like that. They released Glowinski. That's 5.4 million they freed up, but they'll have much more than they thought. But I think it's under 40 million. I haven't looked at the cap yet because it's going to determine on who they let go.
Right now they're at 38.2.
That's not bad. 38.2 is pretty good. I think I think that's more than they thought they were going to have.
Yeah.
So if you had 38 and you gave McKinney say 16 million a year, and then you gave Barkley like 12.5, 13. You still have a little bit left over, but you also have to realize you have to sign your rookies as well.
Yeah.
If you're taking you have to figure that into the equation, and then, but I think they're going to address their major needs first. That's what they're going to try to do, if possible, in free agency. But $38 million is not a bad number.
Yeah, you guys got good money. I mean, we're at 24 right now, and after we sign Dak, we're going to be negative $5 billion. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's going to be. Gary's just going to start a GoFundMe page. You know what I mean, to help out paying players.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But like I said, in terms of the draft, what's Chicago going to do? Like, what's going to do? Are there going to be there's going to be trades before then too? So someone's going to make a move before then. Move up. For players, and we'll see what happens with Wilson. But I think Russell Wilson's would be a smart option for the Giants if they're not going to take.
Especially with Tyrod being gone now, I would take that.
What is your cost on Daniel Jones for his contract left over?
Got 19 last year.
19 last year?
40 plus 19. It's like 50 something, I think.
Okay. I mean,
because Flyers, remember they pushed it down the road.
Yeah, if you
paid him 19 last year.
Yeah, they back-ended it.
So they back-ended it. So he's going to get a majority of, but they have a way out after this season.
Okay, he has like a buyout. Okay.
Yeah, now I'm thinking like if they didn't sign him, they'd have like $80 million in cap space.
So in a way, it does make sense for Russell Wilson, that name, to be involved here. I mean, cheap price.
If they're going to pay, $80 million, I think Shane should be on the phone right now.
I mean, think about it. If it's $80 million for the next 2 years, that's $40 million a year, basically. The average rate for a quarterback is between 45 to 50 now, market rate. Yep. Go ahead and give him a 2-year deal, $20 million. You signed him for $10 million a year. That's not bad for a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl, playoff appearances, a journeyman in a sort of a way, but still a leader for a team.
And they could also, if they want, if a quarterback falls, take him and groom him for when Wilson leaves. I mean, the options are interesting.
Then if it pans out, let's say, okay, we're going to ride with him. We're going to ride with, Russell for a while. Hey, Danny, here's the deal. We're going to let you go. We're going to take the cap hit. Yeah. Bye, God, see you later. Whatever. Drive that QB. Because let me ask you this. How do you guys see next year panning out? Are you going to be a top 10 pick next year? Because that goes into play too. That goes into play too of what quarterbacks are coming out the following year too, where you're going to be drafting at.
I would say possibly, but you never know what's going to happen in the season.
That's true.
It really depends. I think that if they can fix their offensive line, get some stability at quarterback position, I don't think Jones will be ready. Mm-hmm. But fixing the offensive line, and if they sign it really depends on what they're going to do. If they're going to be like starting a rookie quarterback and Jones isn't ready, then probably. But
I tell you one thing though, if Jones is,
it's possible.
Year,
I think
I can tell you who he's going to go to.
Who?
The Browns.
Who? Who's going to the Browns?
Jones, 2025.
If they could do that with Joe Flacco,
you still owe Deshaun. You owe Deshaun Watson $1 zillion still on his contract.
Exactly, and it's guaranteed.
And who the hell wants Deshaun Watson right now? Nobody's going to take that money.
Nobody. Jones have to take a significant pay cut if he wanted to go anywhere.
Watson, he's going to be paid for the next 4 years, guaranteed money pretty much, and nobody wants him. So you're going to have 2 quarterbacks over $50 million a year on that roster for the next 2 years if you're the Browns that you take Danny Jones.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll see what happens with Barkley and McKinney. I think McKinney, you're probably I think there's a possibility because they could match the offer Barkley gets. Mm-hmm. So if Barkley gets an offer, I'm like, all right, we'll match it and throw you a little more guarantee. Maybe he'll come back. But I want to fix the offensive line, and without fixing that, what's the point?
If it was me, I'd put a non-exclusive franchise tag on him, where you have the rights to him, you own the rights to him. The only way he can walk is if the team goes 20% above that cap rate.
Yeah,
otherwise he has to stay there. You don't play. Yep. That's what I would do, a non-exclusive franchise tag on Saquon.
I mean, I think that Barkley doesn't want that, but Barkley has endorsements too. Like, are we going to really pretend Barkley's hurting for money here?
But Dan, you know this. Players don't look at what their endorsements are. You know that, Dan. We have sponsorships,
I get it.
But we don't.
I totally get it. It's just a bad timing for Barkley, unfortunately, because of the market. because the market dropped like a rock last year. So he may not really get what he's even looking for.
And plus, you got Jacobs out there, you got Eckler out there too, so you can pick one of these four.
Exactly. If the Giants lose Barkley, there are other options out there. I mean, Derrick Henry would be effective. You get a Derrick Henry, so you don't get the quarterback. You take Joe Alt. You have JMS. You have Thomas. You obviously kick Neal inside. That might not be a bad idea, or an Eckler. Or a Jacobs. I would take a Jacobs in a second, and Jacobs stays more healthy.
Sure. Now, Evan, you mentioned something I really like how you said it. You said go old school and get that pounding running back, okay? Going to that point there, Tony Pollard, I do not think he's going to be franchised, and I do think he's going to walk this year with Dallas Cowboys.
I think he's going to walk.
Will he be in addition to you guys? I know he's more of a scat back, outside runner. The physical ability is not there this year, minus Zeke. He needed Zeke. He needs that 1-2 punch. Is he a fit for the Giants?
I think not as a
if we keep Barkley, maybe.
You have to have a physical back with him.
Yeah, not as a like. Say they sign Derrick Henry and then Pollard takes a lot less. That would be effective, but I don't know if they're going to be doing something like that.
No.
I think if you take Pollard, you want another back.
Sure.
To complement him, that's a power back, and Gray is not that guy. The guy they drafted last year.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there are options besides Barkley out there. Eckler and Jacobs are like the two I'm looking at. If I take an Eckler, I can't get Jacobs, can't get Barkley, I'm going to try and get Derrick Henry. It's going to be my fourth option.
Yeah, I think you guys need that physical running back more. I mean, to me, in the Cowboys situation, I'm going to let Pollard walk. Third, fourth round, I'm looking at a Corum, a Benson type running back for the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to pay Pollard $14 million a year for this franchise tag. When I can go out and get a running back that's solidified in college, a run guy, and I can pay him $8 million for 3 years. Why not?
Yeah, like I said, there are options out there for the Giants, and you might get a Derrick Henry for less than what Barkley gets, because Derrick Henry's a little bit older.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of miles on him, so I see him getting something like a 2-year deal.
But his injuries ain't been as bad as Barkley's though.
That is true, but I'm talking about his age and the mile and the amount of rushes he's
running back for 5-6 years. Those days are done. But 2 years?
Yeah, a 2-year deal for Henry I think would make sense. If it's Jacobs, I think it would be 3, because he's
Jacobs. I think it's 3 year.
Yeah, Jacobs is a little bit younger. Eckler, I think, is like 30. I think he's a little bit older, but he's very durable as well.
I'd do 4 for 40, and I'd probably do 31 guaranteed.
I'd give him at least a 3-year deal if he was willing to come to the Giants for a reasonable price, a reasonable offer. I think 3 years would be perfect.
I think shelf life, to me, it goes Brandon Jacob, because he has the shortest shelf life, playing wise. Then I would probably go Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I would probably go there. Then I would go to it's to me, it's in between. I mean, Henry's going to be that fourth guy for me, because they ran him
the
like
fourth
Zeke.
guy.
Yeah, they ran him like Zeke as years throughout.
He's had a lot of runs and a lot of wear and tear. What I'm saying.
And 2 and 3, I would probably go Eckler and Barkley. But Barkley, that injury thing gets me the most. He's like the Michael Penix to me. Have so many injuries. What is his word?
I'm saying, he sprained his ankle last year. He had the high ankle sprain after he came back the year before, but still had a pretty good season, surprisingly. And he tore his ACL the year before that.
Sure.
So he always seems to have some kind of ankle injury or something going on. And when he's out of the game, if you don't have him, he's not available. That kills you, especially if you're dependent on a guy like that.
So the question is, you guys don't believe in Danny DeVito?
No.
People at Giants are like, well, Danny DeVito beat the Eagles. I'm like, Danny DeVito sucks, dude. I'm like, if Danny DeVito was playing week 1, we would have gotten beaten 70-0 instead. Like, I'm sorry.
Listen,
it's a great story.
The Giants
he's a bad
something to latch on
to. Even Tyrod Taylor, he lost us the Bills game with his stupid screw up. And then he had the Rams game. He had that pass. He threw it into the ground. He's serviceable, but I don't want either one of them back.
Yeah.
I think they might. I don't know if they would sign a veteran. I don't think they're going to go after a Cousins. That wouldn't make sense. I think Russell Wilson, like you said, Evan. I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah, he's serviceable, cheap price, serviceable.
I'm intrigued by that, especially since it's a need. Well, and Jones probably won't be 100% ready week 1 either.
Well, I mean, Cousins is going to mandate a $50 million price tag.
Exactly. Wilson won't. Mm-hmm. You're looking for cheap options. If not, I'm going to the draft, and I'll take my chances there. The question is Shane going to move up for a quarterback or just stay at 6 and pick the best player?
Okay, let's throw the name out there really quick. Who controls the draft? Chicago Bears. Let's talk about Justin Fields. Would you take a flyer on Justin Fields?
No.
No.
No, I don't think Shane. I don't think.
There's only one.
I don't think Shane will do that.
Mm.
That's what I think.
I can say about this Fields. I thought he could play, but seeing that his completion percentage is like 50%.
How good's their offensive line, the Bears? Did it suck last year?
Not good at all.
So that could be the problem.
It's a revolving door, is what it is.
Because if you're the Bears, see now the Joe Alt pick makes perfect sense to me. If they're going to keep Fields, they'll take Alt. I think. If they're not going to keep him, that like I said, it all depends on how they feel about Fields. And Fields was very lackluster last year. Yeah, but if their offensive line is bad, you're going to struggle. When you look at protection, you're not going to do as well as you would with.
I mean, he did give credit to him. He did, said a 50% rate in his, first games, but he did jump up to that 65, percentage category.
He got better as the season went on. And he's athletic. He's a playmaker, but I think that if you give him some protection, he would be more serviceable. I think.
I think they do keep him. Yeah, they do keep him, and let's just say they go after Joe Alt number 1. They get that solidified tackle there to protect him.
Sense.
Then you know what? Come down at where they're picking at 9. Maybe get a Malik Neighbors if he drops. Get a Roma Duzier out there.
Someone will be there. Neighbors or Duzier could be there at 9.
If not, go Brock Bowers.
Yep. Imagine the Giants do move up to 1, right? We give a first year next year.
Oh, they take a quarterback if they're doing that. But I think it'd be 3.
You take Caleb Williams, obviously number 1 pick overall. The most seasoned college quarterback. I believe people don't believe in Caleb Williams because of how USC as a team did. But people don't realize that defense
he's talented.
Is ranked like 101st in the country.
He's talented though. Caleb Williams is very talented.
Horrible. He kept them in the games the entire season.
And the question is, what are you going to give up to if you moved all the way up to 1?
I would see our first.
Evan's going to give up his haircut. That's what he's going to give up for that one. I'll tell you that right now.
I'd give
up. You're giving up your first round pick. You're giving up your extra 3rd round pick. You're probably giving up your second either this year or next.
You're giving up multiple first.
2nd round pick this year too.
Yep, you're probably going to give up 2025 first also.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll give them first, 1 second, 1 third, and then 1 first next year.
But I think it's going to take more than I think the Bears are.
But then again, you might have to give away Kayvon also.
I don't think Bo. I don't
you know
think
what?
The DC's going to want that.
I'd probably take away that 3rd round pick, but first this year, first next year, a 2nd this year, and Kayvon Thibodeau.
I think it's a lot to give up considering how much the needs they have.
You filled 1 hole, but you still have 9 holes to fill in your team.
Exactly.
Is a quarterback.
Well, what about the other 10 positions on the offense that you need help with?
Well, worry about that down the line.
I don't know, man.
Listen,
I just don't see them trade up that far.
A great quarterback with the rules nowadays. A great quarterback can make you at least something.
Yeah, but they could.
Tired of picking first.
Yeah, but they could stay there. I think they could stay there and get a quarterback at 6. I think they can do it.
I'd move up to 4.
I think the Bears are going to take the tackle. That's what I'm going to say. Right? I think they're going to take Joe Alt.
Wow.
I think that's going to be their pick.
Wow. Evan's starting to sound like a Cowboy fan. There's always next year. There's always next year.
Quarterbacks will be there at 6.
Yeah. Evan sounds like a Cowboys fan now, Dan. There's always next year. There's always next year.
Joe Alt makes perfect sense to me. Even though I know the quarterbacks there are more talented than Fields, but Joe Alt would be a great pick for them.
And you still have another top 10 pick too.
And then if you get rid of Fields, then when you bring it, whatever quarterback you bring in, you have a guy like Joe Alt.
True.
We'll do a Justin Fields for Daniel Jones trade.
Maybe they'll pull something and take a quarterback in the second round, like a Bo Nix or somebody else. Just they're gonna fill two needs at 1 and 9.
I don't
get a tackle, get a wide receiver, then you take quarterback in the second round. If they, I think they have a third round pick.
Williams came out and said that he would play in Chicago. He wouldn't care. I still think he doesn't want to play in Chicago.
I don't know.
I don't think he does either.
But I think
that's going to play into it. But
I think everyone's saying
a big market. Washington's not a big market.
Everyone's saying they're going to take a quarterback. I feel it's not going to be a quarterback.
I think it's all clickbait out there. Everybody's going to say it, see it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Then the card turns in. It's going to be Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison. One of these two guys. Watch.
Joe Alt is such a good player, man.
Yeah, and I cover I do the Notre Dame podcast, and I tell you what, Joe Alt is. I have to bring him up every show that I do. Joe Alt, franchise, tackle, insane.
Yeah, what's called? Want to do a couple sponsors real quick?
Sure.
Right before the end of the show here.
Yeah.
But here you could, Evan, you could do this one.
1-800-HURT-123. Our buddy Jason Fine. He is an attorney. Covers all, slips and falls, workman comp, personal issues, personal injury claims. Give him a call. Tell him that Out of the Box sent you. Oh, excuse me. He is a friend of ours. We got offices in Philadelphia, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh. Phone numbers are listed below. If you need help, this is the guy to see.
Monkey Coat Coffee, Evolution Flavor Infused Coffee. Use a promo code OTB Sports at the checkout, monkeycoatcoffee.com. Get 10% off your order. Their newest flavor, honey agave, is an excellent flavor. They also have aged honey as well that you can put in your coffee in the mornings or your tea or whatever you want. They make T-shirts, mugs, cold brew maker. So once again, join Monkey Coat Coffee and get a bag of coffee today. Use promo code OTB Sports at the checkout for 10% off your order. So, but excellent stream, guys. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. We'll see what happens in free agency here. We'll know, very soon here what's going to go on with Barkley and McKinney. But it's exciting that free agency is finally starting. We're finally getting back on the groove, even though draft is a little bit away. So, like I said, we'll be back next week. Day and time to be determined. But like I said, anything else you want to say, Evan?
It's good to be back. Love you guys. Me and Dan are getting the YouTube together for Joystick Junkies.
Yep.
We plan on doing some gameplay for some stuff. Probably a Madden
Minecraft?
Definitely do the new college
Minecraft
when it comes out.
No.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
But hey, speaking of Minecraft, tell us what happened to your Minecraft world, sir.
Do we really need to go there? Because you guys, it's all because of you guys. Number one, on your show, you said, guys, go to Paul's Minecraft world and blow it up. I didn't play it for 2 days. I come back and my world's gone. Okay?
Yep.
Because of you guys. It's my whole city, my whole entire city I built. Took me almost 4 months to build skyscrapers, streets, houses, even the projects.
That's all a shame.
All gone because of you guys.
You guys have done the Lord's work.
Yeah,
but also coming up next is Commander's Gridiron with Steve Lawman. So check him out. His stream starts at 8:30, and then I think tomorrow you're on tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna be on tomorrow night, 9:30 prime time, 215. Myself and Dave.
And tomorrow morning is Ken Fry the Batcave at 10 a.m.
Yep. Also, guys, really quick before I say something, guys. Jason 5 1-800-HURT-123. Make sure you mention Big Blue Power Hour. We're running a big special out there. No recovery, no fee as always. But if you mention a perfect show out there, we take your case. Those guys get a commission rate off of it. I'm one of the live operators. I work with Jason too. Reach out to 1-800-HURT-123. Mention Big Blue Power Hour. One of the guys take your case. We take it. It's not 50%. It's not 45. Let me go further. It's not 35. It's 33.33% rate, guaranteed up front. We take the case. So make sure you mention Big Blue Power Hour.
Always helps when you're looking for a lawyer, looking for legal help, to have a little bit of a discount like that.
Definitely.
Because sometimes some cases can take a lot of money. So, but yeah, But thank you for joining us in Big Blue Power Hour, and go Giants, boo the Cowboys. Just saying. But we'll see what happens here in free agency and the draft, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.